Hello, hello, it's probably Sharon. Welcome back to my channel. We're making a graduation card today with junk journal supplies. You don't always have to just make junk journals. You can make these adorable cards with your supplies, and I just thought it'd be fun to take you along with me while I work on this today. So let's get started. Okay, so first off, we're just going to get a piece of cardstock. It's just the letter size, US letter size, and I'm going to fold that in half. Now I could make my card, a quarter of this, where it would be like you take half of it and then cut that in half you take half of it and fold it in half. And then you have a card that's like a quarter of the size like this. But I think there's going to be a few people that want to sign this card. So I'm actually going to make it a bit bigger. And because I don't know exactly how thick or how much embellishments I'm going to be putting on it, I'm actually going to trim it down just a little bit, because otherwise, if I leave it at the full size and then have a bit of, embellishing on the front that takes up room, I could then have a hard time getting it into the envelope. So I'm just going to trim a little bit off just to help us with that later on. Okay. Now, I'm going to I don't want to distress this or grunge it up too much. That was my initial thought. I wanted to make a really grungy, really, just vintagey, old looking card. And then I got thinking, this is for a young lady that's graduating from high school. She's probably never even seen a junk journal. And if I hand her something that is, looks grungy and old and dirty, what is she going to think? Is she going to think, did she spill coffee on this or threw mud on it and then ran over it with the car a few times? That she might not get it. So just to be safe, I'm going to distress it a little bit, but I'm going to try to keep it more colorful just for that reason. I don't want to freak her out. So, all right. So I'm just getting just kind of different textures on this stamp. And I'm just going to put a little bit maybe around the edges of this, just so it's not so plain. I'm using Shabby Shutters Distress Oxide. Cards are always fun to make. I mean, from my experience, a lot of people appreciate them. I have a friend and an aunt that have actually told me they've saved every card I've ever made them over, the last, I don't know when I started making cards. It was a long time ago, but they've saved every one of them that I've made. So I thought that was pretty cool. So some people really do appreciate it. So, and they're original. Nobody has another one like it. All right, so I picked out, just to save some time, I've already kind of cut out some things. So what I want to do, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this. I thought this was kind of cool because it's graduation from high school. So, kind of the notebook look, I thought was kind of cool. Kind of ties in. Do something like this. And then I'm just going to make these words going kind of different ways. So what I want to do is I don't want to leave these stark white. So I'm going to take them and kind of brush a little bit of oxide inks on them. So I'm going to be using, let's do the Shabby Shutters on one of them. And then I may go over with a brown around the edges just to give it a little more dimension. Okay, then we're going to use Victorian Velvet Oxide. All right, and then let's see. Oops. Vintage photo. Yeah, I'll use the vintage photo oxide. Where's the thing? Just lightly. It looks like yellow, doesn't it? When it's light like that. Okay. Now I am going to go around the edges with scorched timber. Not a ton, just a little bit, like I mentioned, just to give it a little more dimension. I'll help it stand out a little bit. Try to get rid of the white around this. These I just printed these off from the computer. I just made them in Canva. I have a tutorial on how to do that. That's pretty easy, even if you use the free version. So I'll link that tutorial down below if you want to check it out. You can type up whatever sayings or words you want and make it fit to whatever project you're working on. All right, so I'm going to put them like I had it laid out a few minutes ago. So first I want to tack this down on, not on the actual card, but so these two pieces are together. I'm going to be doing a lot of sewing on this one, I think. Let's see. Maybe like this. Try to make sure it's somewhat square. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of place these down how I want them and then tack them down with some glue, just a little bit of glue, and then I'm going to go to the sewing machine and stitch them down where you want them. Something like this. So let me tack these down. Okay, I'm going to go to the sewing machine and do some stitching around this piece. And I will be back in a minute. Look at what a difference that makes, that stitching. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to do white or black thread, so I did a variegated, like it's black to white and black. Yeah. So kind of got both because I couldn't decide. But that really adds a lot to it. So put that aside. I do know I want to make a tiny envelope to go down here. So I have cut out a piece of scrapbook paper that is 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. We're going to start with this. So first what I'll do, a ruler and a pencil, and I'm just going to find the center. I have an envelope, one of those envelope boards, scoreboards, but it only goes down to a certain size. And I need one a little bit smaller than it will allow me to do. So I'm just lining this up and finding the center. That. Let me get this out of the way so it's not confusing. Well, I didn't cross that very good, did I? All right, so what we want to do now is just take the two ends, or two of the ends, and fold it up into the middle where that point is, where all of those lines cross. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing this side. Take, oops, goodness, hopping away from me. Okay, find the little point. I think I've had too much coffee today. I can see that I'm shaking a little bit. Okay, we've got that. I can go ahead and erase those lines. Okay. All right, now we're going to take, this will be the bottom, and I want to just, I'm going to fold it up so part of this goes with it. So it's not going to be like these sides. I'm going to fold it up a little bit higher. So the point will come up here. I still want to kind of line it up with this point, the top. Try to line that up so it'll be even. Not skew off this. Does that look pretty straight? Okay, then I'm going to take that middle flap and just kind of go where all those points kind of meet. Line your ruler up. You can kind of crease that a little bit. We're going to fold it the other way though. Like this. Okay, so far so good. And the top, you just fold right down. Pretty even with the points, just kind of straight across. You have to overlap it just the slightest bit or else you'll get like a gap of white. So okay, really good. All right, so now I'll just need to glue this down. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. I'm going to fold that. A little glue on this flap. Teeny bit. Fold that down. So I'm just going to go and glue a little bit here and a little bit here. And hold that down. Like that. Okay. Take a look at this. I think I'm going to go, I'm going to do a little brown inking just around the very edge, the outside of the front. Don't want to grungy it up too much, but I think it'll look a little bit better if we just add a little bit. Right, helps a little bit. All right. Okay, so that looks a lot better. Another thing that I want to add to this is this little flower. This is one of the Tim Holtz dies. It's pretty old. I don't even know if they make it anymore. I think it's called Tattered Flowers or Tattered Florals. I haven't seen it online for a very long time, so I don't even know if they make it anymore. So I actually dyed this with some Distress sprays. And I don't know if I want it poking off the edges or if I want to back it up. And I think I'm going to do this and then trim these off and then put an eyelet here. And then we can put some kind of like a ribbon or something. So it'll be kind of junk journal-ish, kind of that feel maybe. All right, I'm going to glue this down. Whoop. Sorry. All right. For my next trick, put this around. I'm going to make it kind of straight. Oh, that's going to be really cute. The stitching just really adds a lot to it, I think. I mean, all the little bits and pieces kind of all come together to make something really awesome. I mean, the background stamping really added a lot. This die that I use that looked like a notebook, that looks really cool. I mean, all the little bits and pieces just kind of make it. All right, I think I'm going to put this. Let's see. Which ones are okay? This. Hopefully we don't get any glue on the table, but these are a little curly just because they got damp from the oxide sprays. Kind of curled the paper a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to get them to lay down. Okay, so I'm going to trim off the petals that are peeking around the side, like so. Woohoo! Looks really easy, really awesome. Okay, now I'm going to put an eyelet here, but I'm going to wait for a second because I want the glue to set up a little bit. Okay, and so this, actually I think I want to get my corner punch and round that off. Actually, it might not matter because I want to put something there to help it hold the flap down. Something, just to add a little weight to it. Okay, for the life of me, I can't find anything that looks good on this. I've tried a few different things and it just doesn't. So I thought what we would do is just put this paper clip that will hold it down, and then maybe we could put like a little string or ribbon or something. Actually, let's just use this black and white baker's twine. Just okay, and then I'm just going to glue this down. So I'm going to leave the paper clip on it, just so I remember not to put any glue on the top. And I'm not going to go clear to the ends. I'm going to kind of go in the middle. That will give the envelope a little room to expand. Okay. hard to decide exactly where to place it. Okay. All right, now for here, for the flower, I'm going to put a gold eyelet there. So we first need to punch a hole. Okay, then I can just place the eyelet or grommet or whatever you want to call it through there. Place this on the back. And get my tool. This is this little cone part you see. That will go in this part, and that's what smashes it down. Here. Looks good. Now we're going to want to put a little something through that hole. Maybe some ribbon. Okay, I found this pretty lace. Hopefully I clipped off enough because I'm famous for, you know, clipping it too short and then I can't tie it. Carefully just kind of tighten that up. It's cute. I might trim it a little bit shorter. There we go. Good. Okay, so I think it's a little blank. It's a little bare right there. So I'm going to use that same texture stamp that we did the dots on the background. And I'm just going to use one of the other, maybe some squares or whatever, and just kind of make that not so plain. I decide what color I want to use. I don't think I want to do the green again. Maybe do the Victorian velvet. I mean, just to add a little something. Just seems too, you know, blank there. There, that's good. A little down here. I mean, that helps. Like that. Okay. So, thank you for staying until the end. I'm finished with this. This little envelope will be perfect for putting some money in or whatever. But yeah, it's simple just to whip out a card for any of the many different occasions that you can think of. They will never have two of the same card. They will never be the same. It's pretty fun. They're all unique and fun and different. And yeah, when you have some downtime, it's fun to just kind of have some set aside for birthdays and stuff ready to go. So again, thank you for staying until the end, and I will see you when I create my next video. Bye, guys.